It's a great day in Dalton. Justice is being...
It is a beautiful day in Dalton, where the winds of justice are blowing fiercely. Alan Thorin, the town's elected assessor for the past decade, has witnessed every twist and turn in the community's evolution. From assisting residents with property tax exemptions to navigating the occasional appeals process, Alan has seen it all. But today feels different. Today marks the beginning of something strange. Last month, the town board approved a proposal calling for a federal inquiry into the mayor's activities, setting the stage for an investigation that would shake Dalton to its core. After an emergency meeting, Alan arrived at work this morning to find boxes of private documents scattered across the common area. Even more perplexing, the lock on his office door had been mysteriously changed. The unsettling events continued as authorities uncovered a massive scandal involving Tiffany Henyard, the long-serving mayor of Dalton, who now stands at the center of a growing storm of corruption allegations. It was recently revealed that Henyard has been under investigation by the FBI for allegedly embezzling substantial sums of local funds, leaving the town in an unprecedented financial crisis. The mayor, once a fixture in Dalton's political landscape, was suddenly at the heart of a scandal so significant that federal officers executed search warrants at her residence. There, they uncovered a treasure trove of damning evidence. Among the items seized were records of lavish vacations, shopping sprees funded by questionable wire transfers, and even a safe containing secret assets, luxuries far beyond what would be expected from someone in her position. Henyard's opulent lifestyle, marked by designer purses, international travel, and an extravagant security detail, starkly contrasted with the dire financial situation of the town she was supposed to serve. While the hard-working taxpayers of Dalton struggled to make ends meet, Henyard seemed to be living a life more akin to that of a celebrity than a public servant. As new evidence continues to surface, it is becoming clear that her actions have caused irreparable harm to Dalton's finances. With the town teetering on the brink of bankruptcy, the federal investigation has intensified. The FBI is working tirelessly to uncover the full scope of Henyard's corruption. The question now on everyone's mind is, how many more lies and deceptive schemes have yet to be uncovered? Will Henyard's life of luxury withstand the mounting pressure of the investigation, or will it all come crashing down around her? The residents of Dalton, who once adored their mayor, are demanding answers and justice. The FBI's focus on Henyard is unwavering. Although the full extent of her criminal activities remains unknown, more revelations are expected to come to light. With each new discovery, the case only grows more complex. The investigation is far from over, and the drama surrounding Henyard's corruption is escalating. Dalton's future depends on the truth being exposed, and the FBI is closely monitoring every move she makes. As the scope of her deceit becomes harder to ignore, the town waits with bated breath for the outcome. Will Henyard face the consequences of her actions, or will she continue to live in her luxurious bubble? Stay tuned as this explosive story unfolds. Justice may soon be served, but not without its share of surprises. The end of Henyard's political career could be just around the corner. As the investigation deepens, one thing is certain: the truth will come to light. It will not be easy for Henyard to escape the consequences of her actions. The infamous mayor of Dalton, Tiffany Henyard, has undergone a significant transformation in recent months. Once a frequent cause of controversy, she has now seemingly vanished from the public eye, leaving her sudden absence shrouded in mystery. Despite what looked to be her inevitable decline, she is being watched by many, as if this were a high-stakes drama, with the public eagerly waiting to see what happens next. Her silence has only fueled rumors that she is attempting to evade the EA, growing scrutiny closing in on her. Many assume she has staged her Houdini-like disappearance to hide her tracks. But the real question is, how long can she stay hidden before the authorities, especially the FBI, catch her in the act of her political unraveling? The community is exhausted by the uncertainty her absence has caused. Public and law enforcement attention remains focused on her, eager for the final showdown to play out. For years, Henyard's unchecked leadership style alienated not only the people of Dalton but also her political allies. By rejecting opposing viewpoints and frequently ignoring the concerns of the very citizens who elected her, she sought to reassert her authority, but it ultimately backfired. A town assembly, was convened, but the outcome was not at all what she had anticipated. Not a single member of the Board of Trustees showed up, making it clear that Henyard's rule was no longer in effect. The empty seat sent a powerful message of disobedience. Henyard knew then that her political career was collapsing. Her strongest foundation, her once loyal board, had become a source of active resistance. This moment marked the realization that her power had slipped from her grasp. The change was sudden and drastic, in stark contrast to the tight control Henyard had once exercised over Dalton. What was once a promising political career is now viewed with disdain. The people of Dalton, who were once optimistic about her leadership, now wonder if Henyard can salvage anything from the wreckage. Tensions have escalated, and her leadership and reputation have disintegrated. For years, Henyard wielded significant political power, but that position has now become a liability. Her impatience, fueled by a desire to maintain control at any cost, led her to disregard the influence of Dalton's citizens. At one point, the Board of Trustees openly voiced its displeasure, pointing out serious shortcomings in her leadership. What was once a formidable political powerhouse is now in rapid decline. Her once strong political position has severely weakened, and her future looks increasingly uncertain. The people of Dalton have reached a breaking point. Fed up with scandal-plagued leadership, they are now demanding the long-overdue accountability that Henyard has failed to provide. The cracks in her political foundation continue to widen. Even if she still believes she can control the narrative, there is no denying that her authority has become a liability. As this political tragedy unfolds, it becomes evident that Henyard's credibility and leadership are irreversibly damaged. The overwhelming opposition she faces, not only from her own board but also from the very people who once supported her, has sealed her fate. With each passing day, the evidence against her grows more damning, and her options dwindle. Time is running out for Henyard. The residents of Dalton are ready to bring an end to her rule once and for all, and it appears that her grip on power is slipping fast. The once promising future of Dalton, shaped by Henyard's leadership, now looks increasingly bleak. Her political future seems to be rapidly coming to an end.
Tiffany Henyard wanted the Board of Trustees to approve some events that she wants the township to pay for, but none of the trustees showed up.
Tiffany Henyard, Dalton's former mayor, had always been a figure who commanded attention. Though frequently embroiled in controversy, she was a resilient leader who knew how to handle rejection. In one of her final acts as mayor, she addressed the town board in a defiant display of confidence, despite the glaring fact that not a single trustee had shown up. Standing at the podium, Henyard made no effort to hide her unbothered demeanor. Instead, she turned the situation into her own personal spectacle, boldly asserting that the entire scandal surrounding her was nothing more than a propaganda campaign designed to undermine her magnificent administration. According to Henyard, the animosity directed at her was simply a ploy to discredit her extraordinary leadership. But the residents of Dalton had heard enough. The town was fed up. In a rare moment of unity, the townspeople interrupted her speech, bluntly declaring, "We already know you're stealing from us." Even when confronted with these bold accusations, Henyard, ever the adept defender of her own actions, remained unfazed. "Your supermayor became too powerful too quickly," she proclaimed, as if her rise to power somehow justified the rampant misuse of funds. She continued speaking with an unusual air of confidence, refusing to acknowledge the growing frustration in the room. It was as if nothing had changed, as if the increasing public outrage had no effect on her sense of control. However, while she spoke, the evidence against her was becoming indisputable. Dalton detectives had uncovered credit card records revealing that Henyard and her administration had racked up an astounding $67,000 in travel expenses charged to the township's budget in just 5 months. When factoring in charges made by Dalton residents, the total ballooned to nearly $100,000. Despite the mounting evidence, Henyard attempted to justify the extravagant spending, claiming her attendance at various conferences was essential to her role as mayor. She insisted that she and her team had been deeply involved in these events, making the expenditures necessary. Meanwhile, Dalton's finances were being recklessly drained under her supervision. Things took a darker turn when Henyard and her administration flagrantly ignored public requests for financial records for months, blatantly violating state transparency laws. This lack of accountability led to legal action. The Illinois Attorney General's office, led by Attorney General Bell, urged the community to push for the release of the withheld documents. In response to this obstruction, the parent firm of Gillies filed a lawsuit in Southeast County Circuit Court. The presiding judge, highly critical of Henyard's actions, ruled in favor of the plaintiffs, forcing her to release the long-concealed records. Yet, despite the mounting legal pressure and overwhelming evidence, Henyard's supporters remained fiercely determined to defend her. What began as a case of fiscal irresponsibility had now escalated into something far more alarming: a deeply entrenched crisis of corruption and abuse of power